midfield position to primarily defense. She adjusted well in that. I made her captain because of her commitment to the team. Anastasia. I had Anastasia as a freshman. She took a year off to rehab her ACL injury. She came back to our program this year and took off where she began, playing a sweeper position. When we switched to a back three, she just got stronger. I made her captain because of her ability to help coach the team. She has directed, talked, and worked with all the players throughout the season. Becca. Becca is our team MVP. Becca has always played outside mid or defense for us. Early in the season, Becca offered to play goalie for us. I'm not sure if she was kidding or not, but we took her up on it and started to work with her. What a great job she did for us. And I just remember at the very beginning in the Salem scrimmage, Becca was not feeling well, and I looked up and she was leaning against the goalpost. I went, great, that's my bully. Sarah. Sarah played midfield. Sure and steady, that's what I called her. I knew putting her in that position that the midfield would be very good. Only if I could get her to stay on her feet, she would probably score some more goals as well. Well, at least this year she didn't get in any fights. Carly. Carly's played 4 years for me and always wants to play forward. I keep telling her she makes a great outside mid. And the evidence is she had the most goals and assists this year for the whole team. Next slide. Big Zoe. Big Zoe came to our program this year. She's been a great asset to us as a forward and defense. Zoe has great foot skills and she worked really, really well with the rest of our team. Sammy. Sammy here? No, Sammy's not here. Real quick, Sammy played her first 2 years as a forward. Her third year, she was a midfielder, and then this year she decided she really liked the defense, and she was. I kind of voted her our best team player. She's not here. Midfield, and she is such a team player. As you know, this is one of the hardest positions to play, and Britt did it so well. She is great both offensively and defensively, and we hope you get to stick with that position. I think it's good for you. Oh, did she have to leave? Okay. Maddie? Defense. Maddie plays outside defender. This year she worked very hard at practice and in games to be the starting left back, and that is when she was not running home. Bree played all field positions this year, forward, midfield, defense. Although we never found one position for her, she'll be a much better varsity player because of it. She has the ability to play any one of those positions well. So think about it. Jensen? Midfield. Now Jensen is a true midfielder, strong on both sides of the ball. She is not afraid to mix it up with the other team defensively, but also know when to give up the ball to a teammate for a shot or take the shot herself. Jordan? Jordan played midfield and forward. Jordan's strength of the team was her teamwork. If she was playing midfield, she would always look for the pass or through balls to the forwards. If she was playing forward, it was always for her intent to get into position to take the shot. At halftime, Jordan always had a positive and constructive team talk. She is very comfortable in both positions. Dreama. Dreama took a year off to rehab her knee. She worked really hard to get back to her starting defensive position. In practice, she was always taking shots and penalty shots and never missed one the entire season. I tried talking to her all season about playing forward, but she was not having it. Mackenzie. Mackenzie came back to our program after a year off. Mackenzie played defense for us and worked real hard at being able to play either right or left back. naturally a left footer, she played real well on the right side as well. Thanks for coming back to the program. Little Zoe. Our only freshman. I felt really bad for Zoe because when the girls were done with practice and all the upperclassmen would go, freshmen, get the balls, turn around, and there's poor Zoe, the only one. So we worked very hard at practice and games to be a better player. Her strengths were playing forward, and she did get a goal this season. She also got some midfield position, and I'm thinking some maybe outside mid for you for next year. I'd also like to thank some of the varsity girls that did help out us on some of the games. Tori, Haley, Hope, Maddie, there was a few of you that helped us, and I wanted to say thanks for that. And one more huge thank you to Ava, our ball girl. She's going to be our resident ball girl until she gets up to high school herself. Thank you, girls, for another great season of Lakeview soccer.
For the last 2 years, I've struggled to find that funny story. Besides the daily antics by Hope, the sweating stories, the cat shirts, the funny story I usually tell is the girls trashing the house, and they've given you some insight into that. Everyone knows that it's a yearly event, and with this group of seniors that we have, I expected them to go out in style. Typically, they toilet paper the house towards the last week of conditioning. Being tired of cleaning up a mess, I was ready, and the girls knew it. And so it became a week of torture. I camped out in my front yard in a tent almost every night that week. The first night nothing happened, and around 4 in the morning, a woman walked down the street swearing about how she was going to start killing people. I turned off my flashlight in the tent and didn't move for a solid 30 minutes. And it dawned on me that the girls were probably going to drag this out. The second night, I put up the tent, but just sat on my front porch filling up water balloons. After filling up about 80 of them, and doing some stargazing, I called it a night around 3 a.m. The third night they drove by. I decided to put the tent back up with the flashlight on inside of it. I was just so tired, and I went back to bed. The fourth night, I think they drove by a couple times around 11 p.m. I ran out there, put the tent back up, and then had my 6-year-old help me string up fishing line around the perimeter of the property using a fishing pole that I then tied to a wind chime. Master's degree. I slept on the couch that night, and every time the wind blew, the wind chime went off, and I would jump off the couch ready for war. Nothing happened. The next morning, as I was headed to practice, I forgot about the fishing line, backed out of the driveway, dragging the wind chime and fishing pole to about 20 yards down the road. That same afternoon, I'm eating lunch, and I hear a car door. I look out, and there's Hope and her sister stealing my wind chime and fishing pole. The fifth night, since I was out my only fishing pole, I decided black duct tape would work. Luckily, my wife had another wind chime. So Emma and I, 6-year-old Emma, and I attempted to place duct tape around the property of the house with the idea it would trip them and the new wind chime would go off. That would certainly wake me up. Anyone ever tried doing that with a 6-year-old? After her walking through the tape twice, me getting stuck in it, and then breaking it once, I gave up. I swallowed my pride and would just clean up whatever they did. When they eventually did show up late one evening, I ran out there to bust them. Instead of scaring them away, I had a bucket of confetti dumped on my head. I saw Reagan frolicking around my driveway, tossing vegetable oil all over the place. I swore at them. It did nothing. I gave up, went back in my house, and just watched. There was nothing I could do. Toilet paper, confetti, vegetable oil, a living room set up in my lawn, complete with couches, a TV, Snoopy Christmas decorations that were frickin' broke, and they even put live fish in a bowl. And the fish died that same day. These girls are truly a special group. Going into the season, the goals were clear. I really would like to recognize them as a group. Bree Hithkins, she's a first-year letter winner. She played mostly center mid. Zoe, who had to take off a little bit earlier, she's first-year letter winner. Jensen, she's first-year letter winner, and she played center mid. Jordan, first-year letter winner, and she was a go-to girl on the outside. Anastasia, as Kathy mentioned, she came back from knee surgery. She played outside defender for us. Sarah, second-year letter winner, was a very strong center mid on the JV squad and equally tough in the same position on varsity. Carly is a second-year letter winner, and Carly played several positions this year, ranging from outside mid to center mid. I think I put her up top at one point. These swing players deserve special recognition tonight because they often show up and play a full JV game, often with no substitution, and then they have to stick around for a varsity game they may get some time in. It takes a lot of determination and commitment to be that dedicated to your team. Congratulations on your letters, girls. You've earned them.